Welcome to another edition of the Patriot Network. What we want to talk about today is the final push on Obamacare. I want to urge you to get a hold of your elected representatives in the House and in the Senate. I want everybody told that you don't want this bill. I want to underscore several parts of what's wrong with this HB 3200 bill. It is a disaster for American citizens. It's great if you're an illegal alien. If you're an illegal alien, contact your elected representative. Oh, that's right, you don't have an elected representative because you're in the country illegally. It's great for illegal aliens who will all get insurance. Refer to the bill. You don't have to wait, as Speaker Pelosi suggested, and after we vote on the bill, we'll know what's in it. You can read the bill right now and find out that all people in the United States are covered on the insurance program that they're setting up. Whether you're in, we won't be able to ask about residency. We won't be able to ask about citizenship. In direct contradiction to what the members of the House, Senate, and the President have said publicly, if you just read the bill, it's in there. Also, if you are a senior citizen, I want to urge you, if you are 65 and older, currently getting Social Security and Medicare, I want to urge you to contact your elected representative and tell them in no uncertain terms, this is a deal breaker for you. They are going to take $1/2 of $1 trillion out of Medicare. Now let that sink in. $500 billion is going to come out of Medicare, and it's going to fund, among other things, illegal aliens for health care. Now I want you to consider, as we look at the greatest generation, the folks that fought and won World War II, the folks that survived the Great Depression, when we look at their health care being threatened by the political class, the leftists in the political class, and they're going to have their health care robbed to provide health care for illegal aliens, you have to ask yourself, what is going on? If you are 65 years old or older and you are getting Medicare, they want to cut your benefit by $1/2 of $1 trillion, and they want to take that money and provide a new entitlement that includes people in the country illegally. Now pick a number, 20 million, 30 million, depending on which study you look at, the number of illegal aliens runs between 20 and 30 million people. If you say, we're going to fund this bill, we're going to cut $500 billion from senior citizens who currently get Medicare to create a new voting bloc for the Democrat Party, illegal aliens on a pathway to citizenship, this will make the greatest generation a permanent minority in the overall population of the United States. If they take the 30 million illegal residents and bribe them with health care, free health care, you're going to get health care. And trust me, all this stuff about, oh, everybody's going to pay, nobody pays for access. If you go down to the Yavapai Regional Medical Center and ask anyone who works there, tell me about access. How does access work? How does our indigent healthcare system work? They will tell you stories that will absolutely revolt. They're just revolting. I mean, it will absolutely repel and revolt you. You will not be able to stand to listen to these stories. So, number one, if you want illegal aliens to get insurance from the U.S. federal government on the basis of robbing senior citizens of $500 billion in Medicare benefits, tell your congressman, tell your senator or member of the House to vote yes on this bill. If you don't want your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather robbed to fund health care for people in the country illegally, people whose first act of their first moment of being a resident of the United States, their very first act is to violate the laws that govern this country. And everything they do from that point forward is an additional violation, an additional defrauding of local and federal government. If you want to continue to bankrupt the Access program, and locally here in Arizona, what did we see the two big sticking points on getting a budget were? We're $1 billion upside down in the current budget. We're $2 billion in next year's budget. What's the biggest problem? Access. How are we going to pay for indigent health care? Who's the majority of indigent health care? Indigent health care is overwhelmingly. And if you don't believe me, go to the hospitals. Go down on our border with Mexico and look at the abandoned buildings that used to be medical facilities that they just had to give up. They just walked away from because they could not operate. Federal mandates ordered them to do things that were not economically possible to do. We have billions of unfunded liability in medical care in the state of Arizona already because of illegal aliens. 112,000 per month, 12 months a year for the last 30 years is the number that's batted around most commonly. And just keep in mind that the left in America, when 112,000 soldiers went to Iraq, they called it an occupying force. When 112,000 illegals cross the Arizona border and come into Arizona, everybody on the left just goes, well, that's just fair. That's just good. Those people, those are indigenous souls who have a right to be here. No, the definition of a country is you have borders and you can elect representatives who set up laws that determine who can and cannot be legally in the country. If you allow the members of the House and Senate to vote this bill, to ram this bill through, HB 3200, 2,500 pages of new mandates, unfunded mandates, you will lose control of your medical care for the rest of your life. You will lose, if you're a senior citizen, you'll lose $500 billion to fund health care as an entitlement to illegal aliens. If you are personally, morally opposed to abortion, your tax dollars will go to pay for abortion. Right now in the House, Mr. Stupak, who was one of the last members of the Democrat Party to stand up and say, I'm pro-life and I'm going to fight this, Mr. Stupak yesterday said, and I quote, they've made up their mind. They're going to ram this through no matter what. So federal dollars will be spent on abortion. Now, regardless of how you feel about the issue of abortion, whether you think it's a baby or a choice, you ought to be able to agree that people who fervently, morally believe that it is murder of an unborn child should not be forced by the federal government to pay for it. If you allow this bill to pass, and believe me, the ball is totally in your court, if you allow this bill to pass, it is a permanent, irrevocable change in American culture and morality. I urge you to call your member of the House of Representatives. Call their switchboard locally, call them in Washington, D.C. Crash the switchboards, crash their email accounts. Contact them over and over again and say, we don't want this bill. We will not allow this bill to go forward. We don't want $500 billion taken from Medicare to fund health care for illegal aliens. We say no. It's our money, it's our government, and we are ordering you as our employee to vote no. Stand up and do the right thing. We'll see you next week.